Hello all, my name is Richard Nugent. I am an economist and the lead developer of the HEC FDA program at HEC. This series of videos serves as an introduction to flood risk assessment. In this video, we'll take a look at flood risk management. If we stopped at damages reduced and life loss, you would have a pretty good introduction to risk assessment. But I want to close this series of videos by discussing flood risk management. In particular, we'll talk about what is the NED account and how, by matter of policy fiat, the NED account is the USACE design criteria. Lastly, I'll spend a bit of time clarifying the distinction between the benefit to cost ratio and net benefits. Project delivery teams inevitably have to answer the question, which proposed flood risk management plan is the best? From the 1983 Principles and Guidelines, a plan recommending federal action is to be the alternative plan with the greatest net economic benefit consistent with protecting the nation's environment. We're getting at the NED plan here. This is most of the story, but not the whole story. We will return to consistent with protecting the nation's environment and the concept of multiple accounts, and the second part of the quote, which states, unless a secretary of a department or head of an independent agency grants an exception to this rule. But for now, pending implementation guidance on quantitatively assessing the other accounts, what we can get from this is that by and large, the flood risk management plan that is selected is the one that maximizes net benefits, as the difference in without project flood risk, less with project flood risk, and that gets us flood risk reduced or damages reduced, minus the incremental cost. So that's the project costs less without project costs. The without project condition is a benchmark against which the benefits and the costs of alternative plans are measured. We equate this measure, the net economic benefit, with public benefit and equivalently with the federal interest. Now, what is a benefit? Again, generally in flood risk management, we view benefits as reductions in consequences across our range of potential events. For now, we're focusing on flood damage reduction benefits because that is what FDA provides to us. Benefits are broader than this. For example, this does not capture all the consequences that we care about, but we'll return to this at the end too. The important thing to notice is that we accept our goal as relative reduction in flood risk. In order to measure a reduction, we benchmark the benefits and costs of our actions against the no action alternative, which is the without project condition. So we have as our goal to maximize net benefits relative to the without project condition. Policy informs the way that we do economic analysis and plan formulation of flood risk management plans. Study authorizations are received by Congress usually in Water Resources Development Acts. We find key guidance on doing economic analysis and plan formulation in the 1983 Principles and Guidelines and in Engineering Regulation 1105-2-100, the Planning Guidance Notebook. Other useful guidance for economists is found in Engineering Regulation 1105-2-101, Risk Assessment for Flood Risk Management Studies, and in Engineering Manual 1110-2-1619, Risk-Based Analysis for Flood Damage Reduction Studies. Other things you need to know include the Water Resources Development Act of 1986, which implemented cost sharing. Local drainage restrictions can act as constraints on possible flood risk management plans. Section 308 of the Water Resources Development Act of 1990 revised the way that benefits are attributed in floodplains, and Executive Order 11988 requires federal agencies to avoid, to the extent possible, the long and short-term adverse impacts associated with the occupancy and modification of floodplains, and to avoid direct and indirect support of floodplain development wherever there is a practicable alternative. Finally, let's take a look at the difference between net benefits versus BCR. From a national economic development perspective, net benefits is the metric of interest, not the benefit to cost ratio. Why? Well, consider walking into your bank and suppose they're offering a very special program. You have the option to get $100 for a payment of only $50 or get $10 for a payment of only $1. Which do you choose, the first, alternative A, or the second, alternative B? Consider which has the highest net benefit and which has the highest BCR. The highest net benefit is alternative A with $50. The highest BCR is alternative 10 with a benefit to cost ratio of 10. Observe that the biggest gain is with alternative A that has the highest net benefit. One can assume that any project with too high of a BCR is not properly optimized. Why would that be? If a program is returning $10 of benefit for every $1 increase in costs, then why would you stop at that point? Now assume you have $200 and your bank allows you to participate in either program, alternative A or alternative B, as many times as you want. What do? Well, you'll invest all $200 in your pocket into program B. Why is that? With program A, you will pay $200 and receive $400, a 2-to-1 return, which is another way of saying the BCR of the investment is 2. Your net benefit is $400 minus $200 gives you $200. With program B, you will pay $200 and receive $2,000 at a 10-to-1 return because the BCR is 10. Your net benefit is $1,800. The moral of the story is that choosing one from among of many exclusive options or choosing how much to invest in any one project continue until additional benefits equal the additional costs. In other words, you have maximized net benefits. When given multiple options and a budget, the highest net benefit plan is the portfolio of plans with the highest BCRs. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, Richard Nugent, or post your questions to the Discourse discussion board.